Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on the webinar for CopperEx. Today we have Dave Prins, President, CEO, and Principal Founder of CopperEx, and Technical Advisor Dan MacNeil, who will be discussing today's drill results from the inaugural drill program at our Exploradora Norte project located in northern Chile. This presentation will include forward-looking statements, and if you'd like to know more, you can find this disclosure on the CopperEx website. At the end of the presentation, there'll be a Q&A session with management, so please feel free to type in questions below. I would like to now introduce Dave Prins.
Yes, hi everyone and welcome to the call. Thank you very much for joining. As you've seen by our press release released today, we've finished drilling and got some amazing results out there on our high quality gold target in Franco del Oro, and specifically the trend of Suppressor and Agua de la Piedra, referenced as ADLP for the remainder of this session. We're very enthused about these results and confirm our conviction of the upside to this project and the potential of a large mineralized system here with the grades we've received from this program. Onto the next slide, please. So Exploradora Norte is located in central northern Chile. It's right on the zone between the second and third regions of Chile, 175 kilometers south of Escondida and 300 kilometers north of the Los Filos del Sol, Los Helados and Caserones clusters. We're on the Domeyko fault and specifically more localized within the West Fissure system, which produces some 17% of the world's copper. We have 20,800 hectares there on this property. Franco del Oro, where we've drilled, is just a small part of that, where we have this amazing gold target. It is royalty-free, the property, no community sovereignty over the property, and has year workaround conditions, which are very attractive basis for investors. We also have several other drill targets that are already on this property. However, we'll be focusing and have focused of late on the Franco del Oro target, and as previously mentioned, the ADLP and Suppressor targets, which we've just drilled 8 holes in. We've got based on the results we've got out there, historic data found on CEDAR in June 2001 by All Resources on the ADLP target showed recoveries on 8 bottle roll tests of between 83 to 96%. So we're highly confident that when we start our metallurgical test program, which will be after subsequent drilling programs, we can't see why we'd get any results other than something like that. Very attractive indeed for heap leach mining. These drill results basically confirm our conviction that we're onto a very good target here. This is a very large mineralized system, and with the intervals we've got out there, from very close to surface down to 100 plus meters, we do believe that this will be on the target of a few companies, large mining companies, if we can follow up with future programs and start to build on this story. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Dan to walk you through the technical side of the presentation.
Thanks a lot, Dave. All right, sounds good. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, great to be here today. So as Dave mentioned, the Exploradora Norte project is located in the upper Eocene-Oligocene porphyry belt of northern Chile. The project's located between Escondida and Filo del Sol, midway between. This, geologically speaking, represents this sort of fairway where there's a concentration of copper endowment. The Exploradora Norte project is located immediately north of Codelco's Exploradora porphyry deposit. This is ostensibly 250 million tons at 0.4. Note the scale bar on the map on the right-hand side of the screen. The scale bar is 5 kilometers. The Franco del Oro target represents one of at least 3 metal-endowed magmatic hydrothermal centers on the property. CopperEx is currently focused on the Franco del Oro project, which is a 15 by 3 kilometer gold-endowed or gold-enriched trend. CopperEx has focused this drill program at Franco del Oro because it constitutes the lowest risk target currently on the property, with, of course, gold mineralization exposed at surface. So zooming in on the ADLP trend on the left hand side of the screen and the Suppressor trend on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that CopperEx is tested at ADLP about 850 meters of a 15 kilometer long gold enrichment zone. At Suppressa, which is the right-hand map, CopperEx has tested 1.1 kilometers of 15 kilometers. And note, this was done with very few drill holes. The key intercepts included in the news release are highlighted in red on these maps. The Agua de la Pirdo, or ADLP zone, and the Suppressa zones constitute epithermal gold mineralized trends. And the trends, or the gold mineralization is represented in each of the zones based on the host rocks. The ADLP zone on the left-hand map is predominantly volcanic hosted epithermal gold mineralization. And the newly defined Suppressa trend on the right-hand side is epithermal gold mineralization, but importantly, some replacement style gold mineralization that's focused in Jurassic sedimentary rocks with carbonaceous horizons. So the contrasting styles of mineralization are a product of the differential host rocks seen in the trend. Note that the Suppressa trend and ADLP trends are separated by a couple of kilometers. I should also mention that these trends are continuous north-south trending zones, controlled in part by favorable host rocks, but and also by brittle structures. We do expect more parallel zones, both west and east of these zones of mineralization. We released some pretty exciting results this morning. The significance of the gold results that we obtained from the drill program are that we demonstrated or confirmed the gold grade and continuity in the ADLP zone. And then we were able to take surface gold mineralization at Suppressa, the newly defined surface mineralization, and extend that to depth and a long strike at Suppressa. Now, the significance for us and the way the exploration will move going forward is to continue to identify or expand zones of gold mineralization from the narrow segments that have been tested across the 15 kilometers of gold prospective strike length in both of these zones. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave my contribution here and pass the presentation back to Dave Prins.
Okay, no, thanks, Dan, very much for that. Before handing back, I'd also just like to mention that CopperEx does have two other very exciting properties. However, as mentioned, we're focusing on the Exploradora Norte property. We've got Buggy in the north of Chile, which we fully own 100%, no royalties, and La Rica in Peru as well, which we own 100%, no royalties as well, 17,700 hectares. So, very exciting future for us, very enthused about these results, and if I could hand back to the moderator to take questions.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're going to go into a Q&A session right now. We have a few questions that have been submitted. So this one is going to be for you, Dan. So given the grades at ADLP and Suppressa, what do you anticipate recoveries will be when you get down to the mining scenario in the future?
Okay, so Dave touched on this at the start of the presentation. There is limited historical recovery test data. While the company needs to perform its own in due course, the historical data suggests that the recoveries are very high, absolutely in line with a bulk mining, bulk leaching scenario at ADLP and Suppressa for that matter.
Fantastic. Okay, and next question. How far down the holes were the intercepts?
Okay, so in both cases at the ADLP zone and Suppressa zone, gold mineralization is exposed more or less at surface. So you can think of that, although mineralization was intersected at some meters below the drill hole, it's a consequence of the angle of the hole for testing. So we were testing the down dip continuity of zones exposed at surface in both cases. So to be clear, mineralization begins at surface in both of these zones, or very near.
Okay, fantastic. Another one for you, Hannah. What kind of mineralization is this, and is it any way related to porphyry?
That's a great question. So the mineralization we're dealing with here is, epithermal, related to the epithermal plan of gold deposits. So this sort of mineralization often occurs at the highest levels or the roof zones above porphyry systems. Some of the vein textures and porphyry dike textures allow us to link the porphyry mineralization to deeper porphyry systems. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that there are at least 3, if not 4, intact magmatic hydrothermal centers on the property. We expect the epithermal gold mineralization seen at surface at ADLP and Suppressa to be genetically related to a deeper porphyry system. And of course, our targeting will keep that top of mind.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I've got one from the audience. Okay, so with these results in, what's next in terms of drilling, exploration plans, and what would be the timeline? I'll give this one to Dave.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. No, so we've already started preparing in a very preliminary form our next phase of works. So we've got some trench work that we already did while the excavator was up on site, obviously from what we've learned on the drill campaign. We've got several months of work prior to fine-tuning our next phase of drilling on the Agua de la Piedra and Suppressa targets, and thereafter drill and get the results out. So, that's what we'll start. We've already started working on it. We are working on it. We need to see the market response out here from this campaign and move forward. So I'm thinking, probably 5 to 6 months, somewhere, probably, let's say 6 months, we should hopefully even be getting out with something else down the track. And focused on the Franca del Oro, the Suppressa, and ADLP targets.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, we have actually another couple questions from the audience, so this is great. Is there another type of mineralization related with gold, and is the system vein and replacement related?
Okay, so at CopperEx, when we look at a project like Exploradora Norte, and when we reference these magmatic hydrothermal centers, we immediately think of high-level gold epithermal style mineralization that's driven by deeper copper porphyry, possibly gold mineralization. So at ADLP and Suppressa, we see the higher level epithermal mineralization that contains a lot of gold, arsenic, and antimony. The replacement style mineralization that we see at Suppressa is a reflection of the reactive carbonate-rich host rocks. So that's what gives us that more disseminated gold or gold vein breccia targets that is concentrated in those key sedimentary horizons. Getting back to the other style of mineralization, the notion is that if you drill deep below this, you have the copper-rich core of the system, if you like. So those are the styles of mineralization that we see. Now ADLP is predominantly volcanic hosted, and that mineralization has a stronger structural control. Hopefully I've answered the question.
Perfect. That was great. Thanks, Dan. Okay. So the next one I'm actually going to ask, this one's for you, Dave. So will you be focusing only in this area, or will you be looking at drilling at Keo-Buggy and the other project area? And I'm just going to unmute you. There you go.
Thanks for the question. No, there's a lot of lightning and thunder here, so I had to put the microphone on mute. So if there's a loud crack, we know what it is. Depending on the response we get out there for the market, and we'll move forward, but we will be focusing on the Franca del Oro target. And as time and resources funds permit, we'll step out thereafter.
Fantastic. Okay, a few more from the audience. So How much cash do you have in the bank and currently on hand, and what sort of run does that give you? I'm going to give this to you, Dave.
Okay, we've currently got just over $2 million as of Monday, Canadian on hand, which should take us through to the end of the year, January sometime, without any additional exploration and drilling.
Okay, the next one's for Dan. So were these holes assayed for copper?
Yes. So all of the samples were analyzed for a full suite of ICP analyses. So we have the basic sort of payables and more.
Okay. The next one is also going to be for you, Dan. It appears that these were reverse circulation drill holes. If so, did you encounter water in any of the holes? And please confirm if it was precision RC drilling.
Okay, so yeah, the drill method in this case, we elected to go with reverse circulation drilling. And that was just so we could get more bang for our buck budget-wise. Given the nature of the mineralization, we felt that RC drilling would not negatively impact, recoveries downhole. So that's what we went with. There is water at depth in the holes, and I would invite the viewers today to take a look at the cross sections. The water level is shown on each of the sections. I don't remember the levels offhand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, and last question from the audience, and this one's also going to be for you, Dan. Were any magnetic dikes identified in the RC cuttings or either property?
Any mafic dikes?
Mafic, yeah.
No. So very interestingly, we did encounter a suite of quartz feldspar porphyry intrusions. Us geologists refer to these as hypoabyssal rocks, and these rocks are near and dear to our hearts because they are the essence of porphyry plumbing, and they help to focus hydrothermal fluids generated at depth. So we do have a series of feldspar or quartz feldspar porphyry intrusions. And interestingly enough, these are mineralized. So this is part of the story for a deeper porphyry linkage to the exciting epithermal mineralization we're seeing at surface at ADLP and Suppressa.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, that's it for the questions. Dave, did you want to give just a little bit of an outro, and then I guess we can conclude the webinar for today?
No, I'm done. I'd just like to thank everyone for calling in, and look forward to your support. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you, and have a lovely day.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. This concludes the webinar. Thanks for your attendance today.